Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ETF2L 6 AFS Season 2025 Premiership Week 5 matchup between czuraci and NANDEM. This is a shortened season, so Week 5 is actually the last week. We've got two teams that can both make it into playoffs. And here to catch all the action, we've got Samus, and here to correct me whenever I'm wrong, it's Cerny. How are you doing, Cerny?
You have that much faith in me that I'm gonna be able to correct you on any of your wrongdoings?
All of them.
That's
It's actually your responsibility.
I
Yes.
appreciate it. I appreciate that you have that much faith in me. I mean, yeah, this is an interesting match because, as you mentioned, both of these teams can very easily make playoffs. Matter of fact, both of them can do it simultaneously as well, if they happen to trade maps. Which would be very funny if they choose to do so, because they could screw over Nunya real bad if they did that.
Yeah.
And make all their work to completely null and void that they did like earlier in the week.
Yeah. The very short story is that Nunya has 16 points, czuraci has 16 points, and NANDEM has 15 points. So if any team gets 2 points, they're through 100%. And czuraci, they only need 1 point. So essentially, if NANDEM wins the first map in Golden Cap, then both teams are through. It's done, and we don't have to even worry about knowing anything about Villa. Which I'm betting what you're hoping for, since you've never seen the map before, right?
I've literally like seen screenshots of it. That's basically my knowledge, my extended knowledge of the map of Villa. I didn't even know it was in the rotation this season. That's quite a surprise for me. Yeah, that would be quite funny though, wouldn't it? And on the flip side as well, if either team sweeps basically, like wins both maps handily, right? They're completely
Yes.
screwing over their opponent and not letting them through. Even if NANDEM gets 1 point, they still can't make it. If it's a hard-fought battle and they lose narrowly in the Golden Cap or something like that, they still aren't making it because they lose the tiebreaker score, which is it's quite something, isn't it? Does the team that has stacked like all of the talent, everybody they could possibly dig up from this, weird off season of Prem that we're having, and they would still not make it? That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, and speaking of them, there's a lineup today is Baldur and Pandemic on Scouts, Haunts and Lardax on Soldier, Blank on Demoman, and Arcades on Medic. So almost the full strength lineup, I want to say. Blank on Demoman is probably better off having Sams, obviously, but other than that, it looks very strong. But we're actually live here, Cerny. We've rolled out to mid. Lucas has actually won the demo duel a little bit here, but nothing spectacular has happened yet.
So it's been slow but steady, rotating around, and look at that, Lenny is the first to fall on the side of the checks, so no healing. It's a bit harder for them to really carry on the mid. There goes Lucas, gets cleaned up eventually as well, Breeze out of the equation, and they're just falling like dominoes one after another. Nation trying his best, but he can't edge out even a single kill towards the tail end there. NANDEM decisively win that mid. No holds barred whatsoever.
Spawn camping. He is spawn camping already. I really hope they see this. They're actually pinning them completely. They're all on this last point. So there's even soldiers here. Okay, they do realize here, as the Demoman actually jumps through, and it's going to force out the Reaper. There's no cap point on Sackle here, so this looks bad, but it's not quite as bad as it looks, just because there's no pressure on the last point just yet. There's a scout capping it out slowly, but it is taking forever. They're still holding it inside the point. Looks like it's going to be just enough. And there we go, first point. Was that 0 deaths on the side of NANDEM?
I think so. I don't think I saw anybody.
Yeah, 0 points.
I don't think I saw anybody die there at all. That's quite something. That's a way to start the round. Under 90 seconds as well, mind you. Like, that was about as quickly as you can win a round of process. And if that, shows us what they're capable of, then it's only going to continue from here. That being said, there's a chance the Czechs find themselves back in this, right? They got caught off guard, and now they could be a good mid. That's a nice little sticky there by Blank, though, to open it up, putting Lucas at a disadvantage straight away on this mid fight, and that shows in positioning. czuraci not being able to take much of the ground they would want to necessarily. Lardax gonna try to bomb across here as they cross on the other side. Lucas manages to off himself with a pipe somehow. Finally, they're trading out some players either side, though, and it looks like maybe czuraci are actually coming out on top here. They're getting more frags, they're getting the kills that matter. Crucially, Arcades is left alone as well. Colin cleans up that kill, and they've kept Lenny alive for the time being, at least. Yeah, Hans can get to him. Good enough. They won the mid.
Yeah, there you go. It really makes a difference not losing your medic first things out of the mid to a scout. Like that makes such a huge difference. And just in general, the rotation around there from czuraci was really, really good. Every time that Lardax and Haunt tried to bomb, they kind of ended up bombing nothing. So they wasted a whole bunch of time and not really gaining that much space for their team. And then following up after that was just quite ineffective. They did take down Lucas, but turns out he did do a bunch of damage before he died as well. So we've got a full-on Uber push going into last here. It's going to be a sentry gun, but that's going to be taken down immediately here as this Uber comes in.
It's going to be on this rotation, though. They got to get some players down as well. Everybody's very healthy inside of NANDEM, and they're not really falling just yet. Matter of fact, they lose SNH and Breeze already. Lardox straight out on the other side finally, but they just have no positions, no presence on this last point whatsoever. They find Boulder, and Lucas is doing his best to try and hold people off from lobby here. Does do so for the time being, so they're not going to chase any more NANDEM. They're not going to be able to really, you know, coast to coast as easily as they want to. They still have to fight for it. They're still 20% off of their own Uber as well, even if it doesn't show up on the stream HUD for whatever reason. Arcades is rocking the sticky bomb launcher, but, you know, we'll just ignore that part. He's gonna have an Uber now, and it's gonna be, if NANDEM are feeling lucky at least, they might feel themselves going out here, but it is not the easiest thing to push out of, especially when you also have SNH Sniper to worry about potentially. There you go!
Oh yeah, that's a great
that one
pick.
up.
Yeah, Demo Man's going down. Soldier's gonna try and bomb in here, see if he can get anything. Gets Haunts, SNH takes down Lardox, Pandemic catches a pipe, this is falling apart.
Ooh.
Oh my god, that's the nail in the coffin here for this round, I think. That is just too much. Losing your medic like that as he tries to retreat and tries to salvage just the last bit of Uber. Yeah, GG, game's over. Blank's gonna spawn out here, but there's just nothing we can do. That's gonna be the cap out. Pushing out of last, always difficult. You called out the sniper before it happened, and yeah, you got that one right. I'll give you that.
It's a bit of a nasty one. I was expecting the SNH Sniper to come out swinging straight away, but clearly he's hitting the shots, and that's going to equalize it. Off the back of that, here we are, Czech team fighting back with a round of themselves, and we haven't even played 5 minutes here. It's going to be a quick one potentially, unless they really start slowing things down at this point. And next mid fight underway. This time looks like Blank has won the duel for the medic pack, and he's going to have to give up a little bit of position, but for the time being, he has this central lane under control, as the rest of the team tries to rotate around Hans. Being a bit cheeky, you're hiding in sewer as well. Managed to get in behind. Nice little bomb there directly onto the med. Guys, get the kill onto Lenny as well eventually. Was a bit of a questionable rocket, but it did meet its mark, and I mean, 3 people dead for the side of czuraci. They gotta just try to send anything here at Arcades, but I don't think it's gonna happen. There's a whole
they
team
rotate
between
around. Like Arcades is in the enemy choke, so it looks kind of weird here. But that was really strange. Lucas got left alone in choke as everyone else on his team were rotating around, and just I think Balder and a soldier just aggressed on him really heavily in choke, just took him down. No one was there to back him up. Lucas is great, but if it's a 2-on-1, he's going to struggle no matter what. And they really rode that into a mid win there. Really great pick. And once again, they do manage to take down the medic. A nice sticky trap from Lucas in the med pack. Gonna take down Lardox. So 1 pick down already. I think they're gonna go anyway. SNH is still behind lines, by the way. So he might do something.
I mean, the Uber has come in, so they're gonna have to wait for a while until that can really do anything, but they are still missing Lardox. They're gonna be down a player in this fight already as the Uber fades, and SNH wins the fight against Pandemic as well, eventually gets traded out for it, but still, that's a decent hold for czuraci already. They basically killed 2 people without even having to really worry about the Uber doing much. They kited it well enough. Now they just gotta win more fights here, and they are winning them. Boulder and Lardox both down again. Arcades dangerously low as well, having to get out. Blank just narrowly basically stopping the chase by Breeze any further, and it's gonna be a second retake here for the side of czuraci.
Unless Hans gets air shot, but he had so much velocity, he actually almost made it out. He was pretty threatening there. I'm not sure what hit him, but something definitely kind of stopped him midair. So he didn't quite get the bomb that he wanted. Bomb eventually ends up not working out. Second bomb comes in here from Lardox. He's going to get the pipe as well, I think. Get taken down. Lenny is well protected here, and he's just in the face of the Demo Man. They're actually trying to chase down the medic super hard. They're just tunneling on him.
They want it so bad. Oh, but they're not getting it. SNH, come on, one more shot.
Okay, they got it.
Get the final meat shot he needs to. That's gonna equalize things wonderfully here. Much rather give them that big advantage that they would rather want, and unless Lardox can have a word with it, and I mean, they're trying to get onto Lenny as best they can. Okay, that's a lot of aggression coming towards that medic. They do eventually clean him up. That's actually turning things around pretty nicely for NANDEM now. I mean, numbers are roughly equal at this point. SNH is dangerously low and just about hanging on to mid for the time being, but they still have to cap this point as well, and there's still a soldier to worry about. Hans, no small feat fighting that guy off, and the rest of the team is there to back him up as well, so looks like this mid may very well not flip sides just yet.
Scrappy as all hell fight here. Eventually it is going to end up being in the favor of NANDEM here. Lucas might get caught out again. Yeah, soldier's in behind him. He is not going to be able to survive here. Breeze and the second soldier comes in as well. And actually, they're gonna do quite a bit of cleanup here, so the chaos continues. Neither team really able to hold on to anything. Big damage and choke there from Colin. And that's gonna force everyone back. There's a big flank going on right now. There's a soldier and a scout coming in through choke. Is there gonna be a big old sandwich going on? Yes, there is. And this is so chaotic, sir. I cannot keep track of who's behind who at this point.
There's just the constant scouts going towards this combo. Poor Boulder, man, he's working overtime trying to keep Arcades alive, and, well, he's unfortunately failed his job. Now it's SNH trying to do 1v2 here, but still, they already found their target. They found what they needed. Now they just gotta keep Lenny safe, and it's a nice position for czuraci to be in. Find themselves another opportunity to get back into this mid, turn the tides, get themselves another round on the board, right? They are in the driver's seat now. Even if they're still on their second, still waiting for respawners, that is a massive, fat Uber ad to work with. And it's only a matter of time before they use it into mid.
Yeah, I would actually like to have seen them try to move forward a little bit earlier, because Arcades was dead. So if they could just get some spam damage in, they could have taken so much space just off of that. I know they were down a player, but I mean, there was no medic on the other team, so they're going to take it a little bit slower than that, and it is going to enable them to set up. Pandemic is on the sniper this time around. We've already seen sniper work wonders, but looks like they're just going to Uber in here through the shutter door and try to take in Lucas. Doesn't really get anyone. Everyone's just out safe, including the sniper.
No! Lenny, why were you just standing there, brother? You didn't expect that there would be something like that? Oh, no. Conversation breakdown. What was that? Why? No. You can't just feed Pandemic an easy headshot like that. Well, that's good
behind
for NANDEM.
lines. Yeah, Breeze is behind lines. I don't think he's going to be able to do much. He has been caught out. He's taken so much damage. Not really going to be able to contest that second point at all. They just need to keep an eye on him here, on NANDEM, as they cap out midpoint and they keep on moving forward. They do have this sniper right now, which is obviously not optimal as you're pushing in here, but you can also just bully them out with the Uber and gain so much space and have the sniper shut down all the side. Like, here comes the soldier behind line. Breeze, okay, gets called out, gets just absolutely dogged, gonna get taken down. Moving forward here, and they're making really good progress. It is annoying though that they can't just put a scout in the point and then move in with an Uber scout. Yeah. They can't do that. They only have one of them.
You gotta take it slow and steady. Pandemic has been hitting shots, mind you. I mean, at least the ones he needs to. Now he's got to win the sniper here against a nation on the other side as well, seeing how well...
They lost the Uber ad, though.
Yeah, that is gone. That has disappeared, and Balder might actually just narrowly escape with his life for the time being, as Lardox tries to bomb in, maybe do something. Gets the force out of Lenny, and unless they can really chase this Uber, go for an exchange here, that's not going to happen. They find Pandemic, and that's it. They're not going to get anything else unless they really commit to this chase, and they're really trying, but that's two scouts trying to shut you down. Well, make it one, actually, as Balder does get traded out eventually. They still bully themselves out a second here. I'm surprised of how much they accomplished with this.
Yeah, they really want to hold on to this Uber.
Breeze?
Oh, the drop comes in. Breeze, just in the nick of time, gets the last rocket off. They milked that Uber for so long, and it's all for nothing. You know, this is why it looks really bad. Because if they had just used that Uber, then they would have bullied them out a second and held on to that. They would have been in a slight Uber disad, but they would have held second. Instead, they're left with no medic, no Uber, and czuraci, they're going to be pushing into mid now.
Yeah, they have a very, very easy silver platter situation here. They do lose Colin for it though, and that's actually kind of making them a bit skeptical on their chances of this push. Maybe they want to switch up their strategy a little bit, or just wait for the Uber as they have it now, right? It's something to work with. It's still a big 50% at the end of the day. It's gonna get you something here, and you know they're gonna try to force that out on the side of NANDEM. They really want that Uber off the table as best they can. Lenny needs a bit of damage, but still good for the time being. One well-placed rocket could end this man's whole career, though. It does just decide to drop Lucas before finally using, but they do find two, maybe actually three, with one of them dying before. Make it four, as Blank goes down as well. Pandemic trying to escort out Arcades. And looks like they may just escape for the time being, but there's a lot of pressure still being piled onto this combo. They want this medic gone. They want him out of here, banished to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, there's two soldiers stuck in spawn right now. Okay, they are going to eventually switch out here. SNH eventually going to decide not to go into a scout being fully healed by a medic. Smart decision, but I like them trying to pressure him here. Soldiers coming in here, contesting second point, and they're being very aggressive. They're actually all out of choke right now, so they just respect the Uber here and get out. with everyone alive. I like that. Well, just to say that Nation runs in and dies for seemingly no reason here. So we might just see this Uber come in just yet. It's only about 20% Uber. It's going to be very difficult to actually get onto anyone important with this Uber. But hey, I've seen crazier things.
Yeah, Lenny's been building well enough. He's going to have his own Uber to respond with as well. So the only thing they really have to work with right now is this Breeze player ad they got. And I mean, it's enough for czuraci to respect backing out a mid. They didn't have positions. They were down a player as well. The Uber came up a bit late. Perhaps the coordination wasn't there in time, but they're still going to be able to hold the second fairly easily now. And in worst case, it boils down to that exchange or a crazy drop coming through on either side. But NANDEM are the ones making the plays right now. They got a lot of aggression, lots of grounds already on this grass, really trying to see if they can get themselves a lot of grounds for free, as Hans just kind of sends himself in before backpedaling immediately, realizing there's no target to land on. Having to reel up instead and let's go for the reset.
Medic's up against the wall.
Oh, but Breeze is in behind. He's already slipped in behind. He's pulling people back. It's such a weird situation for czuraci now. They've used their Uber. They got a player behind who's okay. He's dead now. But they're still pressuring anyway. Nation is so far forward. Surely he doesn't live this, right? Surely he gets killed. Oh. Okay, he lives. What the hell?
Yeah, 6 HP, no problem at all. I wasn't scared at all. Yeah, it's gonna get out alive here, but great situation for NANDEM. We haven't seen a whole lot of successful last pushes. Seems like there's always someone that walks into a sticky trap to get sniped or something like that that makes things weird. But this is probably the most cookie cutter I just have an Atlas go into last situation we've got. Let's see what they do with it.
Breeze almost lining up that shot with Sniper, but it wasn't quite gonna work as the Uber comes through, and so much Captain Word for NANDEM. Matter of fact, nobody but czuraci can even get close to that point. They realize just bullying people into spawn and standing on the point, tried and true method, works wonderfully. Lucas's attention is spread too thin. He can't sticky everything, and that's the second round going the way of NANDEM. Still 15 minutes left on the clock, plenty of time to play for. But czuraci, they're down around, so it is playtime for them once more.
I loved how clean that push was. They just had one goal in mind, and that was just to get point presence, and they did it extremely efficiently. So here we go. It's a one score lead right now for NANDEM. They need this, obviously. If they're gonna bomb in now, Lodox basically just clearing spacing for everyone to get forward here, but actually Balder gets taken down.
But Hans just waddles on in. He managed to get into the sewer again, just hide there, and then just waddles up to Lenny. Nice little rocket to clean him up with. But unfortunately for them, for the rest of NANDEM, the rest of the team is kind of falling like dominoes.
Yeah, well, he's retreating back to last. Unfortunately, it's the opponent's last.
Oh no.
Yeah, they can't really retreat. That's so unfortunate. So there you go.
I was saying, like, wait a minute. Yeah, this site looks weird for them trying to backpedal. What's going on here? And yep. That's unfortunate for NANDEM, even though what looked like what could have been a decent mid just started spiraling completely. They sent too many people in early for that medic frag eventually, right? And it just kind of fell apart. Now, another one mid for czuraci, and they're gonna find themselves with a nice Uber ad to work with on top of it. I mean, it's not as massive as it could have been, but it is still like 30%. Just nothing to scoff at. It's something to work with. Trying to get into the second.
Breeze has actually snuck in. Nobody saw him. Okay, never mind. Blank did see him. And Lion's actually going to get taken down along with Haunt. Both soldiers down. This is going to be so difficult. Yeah, and there's still a soldier behind Lions. Okay, he catches the demo man out, but no, he actually gets cleaned up. So not a complete disaster here. Really important that they got that Breeze pick because he was causing so much trouble behind Lions here. But still, the Uber still stands. They're going to jump in. The demo man really aggressively. 2 scouts on the point. Yeah.
So much damage onto the left side there. Blank just narrowly living, but it doesn't even matter. He's spent everything he already had. Nobody's there to protect the point. They're all just nuked and spawned, trying to live. And then all it takes is SNH and Nation standing on that point, getting it done with. And here we are. Response in kind out of the Czech side. Very quick, bringing it back to a tie game. 13 minutes left on the clock, and anybody's game. Lots to play for, and if it goes to a golden cap, well, I think that'll favor both of them, because they both like just getting those pity points at this point. It'll help them nonetheless, so we'll see how this next mid fight unfolds once more. czuraci been on top of these so far, but maybe NANDEM can find a response finally. No, there's Hans down early. Arcades has eaten a lot of damage as well. He's not particularly healthy already. Breeze slips in. That's a nice little rock down to Blank. Pandemic cleaned up as well as Lowerdox. It's only Balder left alive as the sole survivor on the side of NANDEM once more, and he's gonna have to pull some miracles out of his hat. He's capable, but yeah, one soldier kill is all he's gonna be able to get.
Oh, Lucas spawn camping again. Is it gonna work? Yep. Hawks just opens the door, sees his dude. There we go. So sneaky. Really nice job there. They obviously still have this massive rat that's going to be the main thing. I don't even think they're going to be able to push in before Hans goes down there. So that's just an extra tea break for Hans, I think.
Perhaps he's enjoying himself, just not having to do much in general for a little bit, but they're gonna have to do something soon because this Uber is fast approaching and it's a big ad to work with as well. So unless Lenny somehow drops here, which is unlikely to happen at this point, they're gonna Uber that in. Essentially is level 3, gets taken down immediately though, not much of a worry there. Now they have to start getting some players out of this equation though. He can't play the cap just yet, there's still stickies on it, but there's a beautiful lineup for Lucas. He just gets Arcades straight away like that. That's a crucial pick even if this push goes awry now. You have you just hit the reset button at worst case, right? And you still have so much presence on last regardless. Like, these players have no heals. You can just wear them down in War of Attrition.
I think they decide to just not go for it here, and they're just going to play the Uber ad instead. They're just going to rotate into Joke here and try to contest second. They only had one scout here, so I don't blame them. Soldier's going to jump in now very aggressively. That basically just forces everyone back. So this is looking really solid right now for czuraci. I kind of like this, but look at that.
Oh my god, they're bleeding.
Players.
Yeah, they're just losing the fight. That big ad to work with and everything, but it turns out they just gave up too much positioning. They maybe respected NANDEM a bit too much. NANDEM getting away with a lot more than they should be here. Boulder cleaning up that frag onto Lucas as well, and somehow in all of that they turn it around completely. I mean, they still have a big diss ad to work with, but they get mid, and now NANDEM are poised to just keep this rolling forward. Off of vibes alone, Lenny eats a lot of damage to choke and drops.
Oh, Lenny! Oh my god. So, well, second drop here. It's absolutely tragic. Well, actually, no, wait. That was Arcades that dropped the first time. Never mind. There was some slander. There's actually a really nice back cap here. And there's been a bunch of delay here. They're going to stack second point. Should get it just fine. But actually...
One's trying to block. No, couldn't block in time, but at the very least got the kill onto Arcades. It's certainly a nice consolation prize at the end of the day, but there's still 2 players down, trying to hold off an entire team and trying to get to last. They're all very unhealthy as Lenny just takes down Hans with a nice arrow. SNH cleans up a little bit as well alongside Nation, and they kill everybody, but it's still a lot closer than it really realistically should have been. And they're gonna have to try and get onto the second and get onto that mid as fast as possible. Arcades is gonna have nobody to heal for a while, so even though he spawned very early, it's still gonna be an ad for Lenny nonetheless. Quite a big one as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, they were just a little bit too weak. They're just a bunch of coughing babies, basically. Actually, Hot's going to come in here, take down Nation on the flank. Super annoying. Take another fight against the scout inside the door, indoors. Almost gets him down. And they're just going to try and get Pandemic off the high ground. They will succeed. Soda comes in onto the medic. Doesn't quite get him, Baldo, though. Will he be able to get him? No! Okay, it's just going to be all about can Blank hit that one last pipe or sticky onto Lenny? I think the answer is no. I don't think he realizes how weak he is. Ooh, close stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it was the pressure that has been piled on as well. It's quite something. It's been a game of just playmakers on either side here, right? The scouts just tearing it up for both of the teams. Namely, obviously Hans really like trying to put, show the star soldier he is here, but he's just getting shut down so much, not getting away with anything. Again, nice bomb to choke here, nice rockets. Okay, as I say it, I basically counter-cursed him. He immediately goes for a beautiful play, gets away with the frag onto Laney that time around, but it's still gonna be scary for NANDEM because they know that there's a lot of angry checks now coming their way, perhaps wanting to just send themselves in there, seeing what they can get away with. Maybe. They really
figure they're going to move forward, right? Obviously, they're going to move forward. Okay. They've got 2 more picks. Surely this is going to be that. Blank's going to jump in, just lock everyone out to the best of his ability. They're going to get onto this point and then move on to second. No problem. They might be able to block Freeze or Nation, but they didn't quite stack it enough. Okay, they are actually going to block those 2. That's just going to make it even easier. There's no sniper or anything. And you see Hawks just comes like flying through the choke here. Very aggressively.
Blank gets hit for a sticky trap though. Lucas just has those always all over the place, and you're just not looking and you get caught by it. Now they're down the demo, there goes Hans as well, and czuraci have smelt the blood in the water. They are immediately pouncing on this opportunity. They still have to go for the Uber exchange with it though, and unfortunately for them, Lenny doesn't quite have it, so SNH gets dropped as this Uber goes forward, and it's still gonna be on last. I mean, there's cap time coming out. There's a lot of cap time, mind you. They have to pop to just block this point, and nice rocket there to clean up Pandemic. A little bit more damage perhaps to clean up these remaining players, but no, they're all out. they all manage to escape narrowly as Lardox actually tries to stay in this. Matter of fact, they feel themselves a lot with that cap time. They're just continuing to fight this as best they can. Nice rocket down to lane. He eventually gets cleaned up. They only find Lardox, and yeah, NANDEM just win the refight.
Just barely having enough people and health there to fight that, but it was a long fight. It felt like the entire round was just a bunch of long, protracted fights. And that's going to be that. Eventually, NANDEM wins out. So, I don't know. It's really fun game so far. It really seems like neither team has like a clear advantage. It's just one team will bleed one player, and both teams are just happy to take those fights. So we see fights all the time.
They're just always full send forward. As Breeze goes directly into enemy IT, gets just mulched by Pandemic immediately. But the pack is still on lockdown, which means the positioning on NANDEM is compromised for the tail end of this fight. I mean, they didn't accomplish much on the side of czuraci. They lost the soldier early. Lucas eats a lot of damage while trying to escape, and they have to eventually concede the mid fight. But it's not a big loss, right? They can hold this. They can certainly move on from this. Hans tries to get in through choke. Big, beautiful deep bomb in. Unfortunately, it lands nothing except a little bit of chip damage onto Lenny. And that's going to be an Uber now for the side of czuraci as they find themselves a player up as well. And the aggression they've shown would make me believe that they might use that opportunity to even just send something in straight away if they so desire. Maybe they're waiting for something more.
Both soldiers are definitely trying to get in, but they've both been spammed out pretty effectively here. So it was a good job there from NANDEM, just denying the pressure pretty well. And Hans is back. He has no gimmicks going on, just good old gunboats. But they're obviously very good through this choke, so that's fine. I feel like very often going into process last, you'll see stuff like man threats and maybe even shotguns or bandos and that kind of stuff. But yeah, here in second.
That's aggressive. That's nasty. Lardox just sending himself straight into flank. They're getting two for the price of one. SNH and Breeze both taken down, opening things up wide for the NANDEM flank here as they take down Nation as well as Coling. They're just farming on that flank. It is looking dire for czuraci, and they're at risk of going down 2 rounds now. With 5 minutes left on the clock, that would actually put them in quite the dicey situation, and it looks like they might just have to use to block the point here. Obviously, there's a response coming out of Arcades, but Lucas is gonna have to hold this for a while. SNH is there to finally back him up. The respawners might also come in just about in time as the Ubers have faded and the players are falling either side, but it's certainly looking better for czuraci as they're finally cleaning up the frags they need to, and they actually wipe the whole team.
Respawn wave coming in clutch there. SNH doing a ton of damage. And once again, just a little bit too slow there to get on the point for NANDEM. It was a good push overall, but just slightly too early that Respawn wave came in here. Lucas gonna be the first one through the choke. No fear, just gonna muscle everyone out. They all just decide to go, yep, we don't want any of this heat. And they're going to retreat. I see a sniper somewhere. Where is he positioned?
He wasn't forward spawn, but he switched off by now.
That's why I can't find him.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Just trying to be cheeky in the forward spawn, but they didn't push fast enough on the side of czuraci, so nothing materializes there, and it's just gonna be back to the old classic again. Though czuraci in the driver's seat, big ad. That's a huge bomb in again, but he beefs it. No rocket, no damage dealt onto Lenny whatsoever. It doesn't have to pop. SNH falling to a sticky trap. Lots of damage dealt to both soldiers as well. Breeze will fall, matter of fact. Pandemic just taking it forward. Doesn't quite manage to get the kill to Lucas, though, that he really needed there. The hard carry for the Czech side. Still on the board, still on the field. Coling does get taken down eventually, though, as they train him out for Lardox. And it's still going to be a second point, probably one here, but you're getting under a lot of pressure. And with Arcades coming up on his own Uber now, this might just be an exchange waiting to happen if either medic has to pop. They're staying in this though. Somehow, with just 3 players, czuraci managed to bully out an entire NANDEM team.
Yeah, NANDEM is being quite aggressive actually with relatively few players. You don't see a lot of teams being that willing to just peek out of last year. You've got SNH on sniper again. Immediately makes his presence known, takes down Blank. That's a really key pick here. And now they're gonna be able to put on so much pressure.
They can get away with so much now, and obviously SNH angling for another shot here as well. Another pick would be even better for them, and they took so long. If the Uber's still in play on either side as well, they didn't really want to commit to the exchange just yet. I mean, one pick on a sniper is essentially just making things equal again, right? Sniper isn't going to do much in the fight itself, so They need a little bit more out of this. Now that they're aware of the sniper as well. They're trying to go for the counter snipe. Pandemic does get taken down though. Opens things up a little bit more for this. Again on this far side here. See if we can get another shot. What a shot onto Hans! Can you believe that? Unbelievable.
And that gets the Uber force
yeah,
as
it's
well.
the force as well. Oh my god.
That's nasty. There's no way that should have hit. I was watching him the entire time in first person. That was a dumb shot. Oh, what an air pipe from Beatles.
Nice little pipe. No more 0 pipes. He's hit 1 pipe at least. We've seen it on stream, and it's one that actually mattered because it kept his medic safe and everything. Now, czuraci able to perhaps finally make use of this Uber ad that they have. They really want to. They're gonna try and get themselves into second here, maybe even for free, as NANDEM are gonna send everything they can. And yeah, Lenny's gonna have to use eventually. Just gets a lot of pressure on him. But SNH is ready for feasting. There's a lot of blue players right in front of him. Matter of fact, one of them is Arcades, and there you go. Immediately take care of that medic. Even if you can't convert this now, you still have an Uber to work with as long as you keep Lenny alive. And Blank is in hell as well as he gets juggled around. It's a pure heavy boulder trying to hold this. He's gonna have to switch off as well as the captain comes through, and the Soul Scout isn't doing much against that. There you go, they equalize it.
Yeah, that was just like SNH is playing so well. It's kind of good. He's on 87 points.
Oh my god.
He's doing something crazy. And I don't think it's all just gap on. It really feels like he's having a crazy impact. That makes it 3-3. And just a reminder, these teams love points, any points. All right, czuraci just want 1 point. That's all they need. I almost feel like they shouldn't go to mid.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if they just go to the golden cap, they have their 1 point they need, and then they're guaranteed into playoffs. So, at this point, czuraci can't lose anymore. It's more so, can they make the decision on who's gonna be in playoffs with them? Do they want NANDEM, or do they want to win harder and upset NANDEM and let Nunya get that slot instead, right? So, I guess
keep your medic alive. That's like the key thing, because if you keep your medic alive, you're not losing around in 1 minute. And there we go, Pandemic is going to get taken down, and Lenny is not dead. And Arcades is also alive as well. It's 30 seconds. It is winnable here for sure. Obviously, Arcades can drop, but you know, the closer we get to 10 seconds, if you just pop on the point, then that's basically enough to make sure that it cannot get capped out in
They
time.
haven't gotten second yet either. I don't think czuraci are angling for the win here. They just want to get as many funny numbers on the logs as they can. With 10 seconds left on the clock, second not even capped it. The Ubers have been exchanged, but there's no shot they're winning this round. It's not going to happen. We are going to a golden cap, and that secures for sure if it was ever in question. The czuraci are getting themselves into the playoffs. Now, could there will be paid actors going on? There could will be some rigging, right? Because there's a good chance
We
that
talked
these teams
about it, yeah.
might be aware of their situation and the fact that they can both make it. They might just have a gentleman's agreement, like, oh, you know, we'll play close. We'll let you guys, like, we'll play the first map and then we'll see how it goes in a second, you know? We can both make it. I guess we'll see. We'll see how they check it out. Maybe they're serious, good sportsmen. Maybe they just really want to upset Condog.
That's a good deed indeed. But anyway, yeah, we should point out here. So czuraci obviously through. NANDEM are not. They need 1 more point. Just 1 more point and they're through on either map. But so if they win this golden cap, they are also through and Nunya goes out.
Yes.
And Condog cries.
Yes. If they win it, or even then if they win the next map, right? Either way, so if NANDEM now wins a map, they are through. If they don't win either map at this point, they are not making playoffs. Meanwhile, czuraci have absolutely secured themselves, even if they lose both maps now, which would be quite funny. What a way to go into playoffs, right? But with how close the season has been overall, I wouldn't be surprised if they just end up tying again, to be honest. It's been a lot of those tie games this season.
Yeah, I haven't watched almost any games this season, so I'm just not even gonna pretend like I know what's been going on here. I tried to look up the demos to maybe do some research, but there's only 1 match that had demos uploaded, so I kind of gave up.
Was it a
but
demo
we're
night
about
match?
to go to I can't remember what it was.
Oh.
It was a week 1 game. But either way, before we go completely live here, I just want to point out SNH had 41 kills, 14 deaths, and 360 DPM. All right, take it away.
Yeah, he was definitely pulling weight, and we'll see if he continues doing that. put a golden cap here on process. Gamers are keen, they want to get this on the road and over with, and we'll see how much czuraci are still on top of these mid-fights. Certainly we're looking not that good last time around. There you go, NANDEM coming out swinging. That's a frag onto Lenny straight away. They're keeping Arcady safe, and their enemies, Sewer. Matter of fact, the entire team from NANDEM has rotated to the enemy side, and they're gonna have a hard time getting out if they're gonna go through this wall of players. They lose Lardox for their troubles, but trade him out for Nation at the end of the day. Still, they're not quite in a position to really do much here. They find Lucas eventually, but he still gets traded for Hans nonetheless. It's a war of attrition they have to win, slowly but surely. They are getting there, but it's an unorthodox mid, to say the least.
Yeah, I've never seen the entire enemy team rotate into the enemy side. Like, you obviously pretty often see like a medic and a demo or maybe a scout kind of retreat out of the enemy choke, play that kind of, but that was basically the entire enemy team that just switched positions. Very curious mid. Works out for them though. NANDEM, they're going to cap out the second point, and they just need to dodge this SNH sniper, and they can get a full grad push into last. They've had a really clean one in a very similar position to this, where they just put time on the point and capped it outright very cleanly. Let's see if they can redo that, or if we're going to keep on fighting this.
You say just avoid SNH snipers if it's a simple task. It hasn't been so far. He's been hitting the shots he needs to, but they pop early, making sure that sniper isn't going to find his mark just yet, and they take Sentry down as well. Right away, a little bit of Captain being put down. They found Lenny as well, means no heals or no repercussions here whatsoever out of the side of czuraci, and as they slowly trade away at the frags, nice little shot by Lardox to clean up Lucas as well, and there you go. NANDEM buy themselves a ticket into playoffs, and Condog is crying. Tossing and turning in his sleep tonight over that one, probably.
Noonian national tragedy just occurred. Yeah.
You try so hard and you don't succeed. They did everything they could under their own steam and still just couldn't make it.
Yep.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate indeed. It was pretty cool to see that it was just the exact same last push they did. They basically had a scout and a soldier play the point very aggressively, and this time around, the enemy soldiers on czuraci did a better job at contesting the point, because that's basically what you have to do. You have to have soldiers jump the point and spam them off, because the demo man is preoccupied, right, and kind of locked in spawn. And they did a better job, but it was just too much time still. So eventually they did lose the fight. The soldiers took too much damage, and eventually they lost too many players, and the point was capped out. So a very solid push here, and it's pretty cool to see NANDEM just riding that really solid like strategy just into it. All right, here we go.
Yeah, I'm looking at the logs. SNH was just on flak cannon duty. He was farming soldiers. 19 kills. 19 of his 43 kills, so almost half, are just on soldiers. He's been farming this entire map. And this is, but mind you, this has been a pretty familiar story in almost any match I've seen of the Czechs this season, where SNH is just putting down absolutely monstrous numbers, and then his team somehow still loses.
Yeah.
What is this? This is insane.
I also want to point out, I feel like Blank played really well this match, and he kind of matched Lucas the entire game. You can kind of see that in the logs. They're extremely similar when you look at damage, kills, and deaths, and assists even. So yeah, big up to Blank there. I didn't think he had it in him to be a good demo man, but it goes to show what I know.
Yeah, it seems to be like well. this bit of a jack of all trades type of guy in Prem at this point, right? He's kind of like made a splash on everything, shows that he can kind of play and adapt to any role, which is maybe what also the philosophy behind the NANDEM team has been this season, right? Where they're kind of just shuffling players around every week for every match. But I mean, he slots into that team wonderfully with whatever strategy he has to play, whatever role he has to play, and it's been performing admirably. Maybe also playing into his favor that Lucas has been shut down quite a bit. Like the team have been on top of it, right? I feel like if Lucas was also going to get away with much more than he has been able to on Process this time around, this might have been a different story, right? czuraci might have been a lot more dominant, because SNH was getting away with a lot, and they were getting him letting him get away with a lot. But at the end of the day, Lucas getting shut down, that's like your other hard carry, right? It's going to make it a bit tougher for them. And that it shows at the end of the day, because the rest of the team was just like, look at that block of NANDEM players, right? Just solidly performing, showing up where they need to. They're not standing out necessarily this time around, but they're still doing mighty fine.
Yeah. All right. Sony, what are you expecting here on on Villa, I'm expecting a very thorough and comprehensive deep dive into all the tactics and different parts of the area of the map.
I actually like have to look at this map. I have never seen it, but I don't even know what this mid looks like. Okay, let me get a feel for like the layout of this place. So this is okay. So there's like a big door there. There's like a shutter, like a double door. There's like two double doors there. There's like a lower area that you can come in from. Okay. I mean, this is a messy mid. They're just looking at this straight away. This is confusing. I'm gonna be so lost on these mid fights, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, okay. I've kind of been assuming that this match doesn't matter because they're both through, but now that I think about it, they're tied, right? They both have 17 points.
It's like a seeding matter still, yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually a seeding match. I've been like messing to them, telling them to go Jetpack Pirate or mid. Maybe I should stop trying to corrupt them because this actually matters. So, sorry about that if it turns into a shit show. That might be my fault. But yeah, this actually matters here. But this mid is, I want to say, it's really open. You can see a lot. Right? Like if there's a soldier that's bombing you, you can probably tell that he's coming. So in that sense, it's pretty bad for soldier. I think I remember. But yeah, you have this flat high ground. There's a perfect circle over, or a perfect square over the midpoint. And obviously, if you can get that, if you can eliminate the enemy demo man and put a soldier or a scout up on that, you tend to win this mid. I'm pretty sure that's the key takeaway that I remember, where it's just like, oh, you lose your demo man, and then you just need to like super aggressively play for the high ground, because if you lose that, you definitely lose the mid.
Yeah, like what I'm seeing, it seems like there's almost nowhere else to really stand on this mid, right? Like you have like 3 levels. You have like the roof above the point, you have the point like kind of level with the bridge, and then you have the low ground on the grass. And
yeah,
I mean, like you definitely don't want to be in no man's land, but there's not much space to stand on the higher levels either, and it's still so open. It really
yeah,
is
you almost kind of have to jump out of the midpoint, right? Like if you jump across mid, you can end up in the doorway, you can end up in the library kind of area where you're behind the enemy team. But it's very difficult if you land on that little balcony with the little lamppost. Well, there's a wall right behind it, so you get splashed out pretty easily still, and it's not that tall. So you kind of have to either land on the mid-high ground or be in a high ground position very, very briefly before you either jump away or die, or you have to land behind the enemy team as a soldier. So I'm a little curious to see what the plan is for this mid. I would expect them to go very aggressively for the enemy demo.
Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty sound strategy for this one, getting yourself that high ground secured. I wouldn't be surprised, at least, obviously, if at any point we're going to see more sniping, right? Destiny has been on top of it. He's been having fun with it at the end of the day. I mean, I'm not sure about the sightlines on mid, but it is a very open point. You can probably get away with some, like, cheeky sniper to mid plays as well. And I would highly doubt either team is overly familiar with the map, right? They probably spent it a couple of times at best. I think
second point is a lot better for sniper. I think mid is too small. Like the sightlines are fine, but I think the problem is that you just have the enemy team too close to you.
Yeah, but that hasn't really bothered SNH so far, has it?
True. Yeah. He will just hit a soldier in his face, I guess. So in that sense, yeah, you're absolutely right. But in general, I would definitely say that second point and last point are where we're going to see the most sniper, which is kind of the case for all maps. So I don't feel like I'm dropping some truth bomb here that you hadn't thought about ever before. Yeah, I'm trying to look out for what's different on this Villa compared to the earlier version. There's on second point, there's this well that has like a ramp over it. That didn't used to be a ramp. And then there's this rock. You could walk behind that before. Now it's in the... Everything's just basically more compact is what I would say overall. So the map seems more compact, more gully-washy. So I guess that's something I like. Maybe, I'm not sure. I haven't seen that many games on Villa here, but they tend to be bad games. So hopefully that's not the case here.
We'll see if they can put on a bit of a show, right? As they're taking it to map 2, where pretty much nothing matters. These teams have got to fight each other in the playoffs, like next week anyway. And at the end of the day, the winner goes up against my project. But hey, it's all for funs, and we get to see Villa for once in EU. I mean, a occurrence that will almost never happen again as the mid-fight unfolds before our very eyes. Breeze has managed to slip into the fountain side here, and it doesn't look like anybody on NANDEM seemed aware. There could be a soldier right in their face. Matter of fact, nope, they were completely unaware, and now he's gonna, well, at least be a bit of a shock factor for a while as Hans has slipped in behind, maybe, up in front of his team. Alright, they're just all bunched up on the low ground there, aren't they, czuraci? They're gonna get mulched here. Yep, that's, the follow-up is there, and they just get destroyed in library. Alright.
Yeah, they actually played it really passively. They kind of played their own side's high ground. Nobody really jumped in very aggressively. Nobody even stood on the high ground on mid. That was very surprising to me. Nobody even tried to take that. They just knew it would be so contested. B's going to go down here as well. SN8, he is on sniper now, but unless anyone peeks, that shouldn't matter too much here. Arcades has this 100% Brad. Did already drop 2 times on process, so maybe I shouldn't write SN8 off just yet here, but this is a very big ad going into last, and let's see, is there a sentry gun? There is, kinda.
Yeah, not much to write home about with that one though, unfortunately, and as the Uber comes in as well, take it down right away, but Blank just gets down, killed anyway, and matter of fact, they find Arcades on the other side of the last point. Now it's just about keeping Lenny alive and getting the people to the point, but as I say that, it didn't happen. They just couldn't get there and get cleaned up. Or just pressured off of it, and well, there you are. It's another curious thing about this last point. It's pretty high up, If you're trying to defend it, you're kind of sitting duck up there. Like, you have a high ground, but you're also like an easy target. And once the enemies are on it, well, that's quite the hill to climb,
Yeah, it does feel like there's a bunch of high ground all over the place right next to the point. So it's not as easy to cap out there, but the scouts eventually cleaned up and got on it. No problem there at all. Both demos gonna go the same way to mid here. So we have a single scout on top of the point, but he is gonna get spammed off pretty quickly by some stickies. And here comes the big soldier bomb.
Big bomb across does find a target, I guess, with Lardo sitting cleaned up. Unfortunately, traded out for SNH on the other side. Though as Hans gets around onto Lenny, 3 rockets. That's more than you should use, but it doesn't matter because it's all you need. Oh my goodness, what a rocket by Breeze, though, to clean up Arcades on the other side. And it's still anybody's game, but the numbers are certainly favoring NANDEM as they clean up Nation as well, with Breeze the only one left alive. And unfortunately for him, he's kind of behind enemy lines right now. That it means he can be a bit of a menace. He can maybe camp the forwards or whatever. Maybe get another easy frag here onto Arcades or somebody else, but they're already aware of him. He kind of got a bit ahead of himself. And
Did you hear that, Cerny?
There was a bell.
Yeah, but they capped it. I don't know why I care so much about it. I completely forgot about that. I didn't realize. Where is it? Oh, it's the bell tower on mid. Can you still shoot that? I think you can shoot that with pistols.
It's like CS. It's like Inferno on CS. I mean, maybe. It's certainly possible. Would be a neat little target. That being said, look at that. They're actually trying to do some fighting here on second. Scout traded out for Soldier, but Lenny's very low, and there's Hans in behind again. Just managed to slip right in there, get that medic out of the equation, and I think we're starting to see where the chaos really favors one team over the other here. I mean, these fights are getting chaotic, and the players are starting to be a bit less familiar.
This gets denied super hard, man.
NANDEM is winning these chaotic fights, man. They are getting away with way more than they should.
Yeah, super aggressive jump forward here from Blank. Almost finds himself in the arms of Lucas, who's just waiting with another sneaky sticky trap. Let's see if anyone actually falls for it this time around. It's another big Uber ad, and last time around, they did not seem to have it figured out. I'm not actually sure what you're supposed to do here with rotating around. Like it looks like you get caught in spawn super easily and boxed in. So I think you have to stay out of it, but. I don't know where you hide on this last point, but maybe I can get some answers now that this Uber is about to come in.
Nation trying to go for the snipe as well through the shutter. Unfortunately, doesn't quite get a target before the Uber gets popped off and everybody's through. That's essentially out of the equation, but the Uber has faded. They haven't gotten much ground out of it on the side of NANDEM just yet. Have to get through the players as well. They are slowly doing so. Breeze and Coling both taken out, but they lost Blank, and Arcades is dangerously low, so they're going to be out of heals, at least for a little bit here. It's going to be on the scouts to really pull their weight. The soldiers trying to back them up, but they're just getting cleaned up one by one. The heals just aren't there, as Arcades was just not able to provide them. And they're going to be escaping back out to second on the side of NANDEM, maybe even mid at this point if czuraci are feeling a little eager and a little aggressive.
Well, Blank jumps in very aggressively to hold these doors with stickies. Definitely going to do a good job of slowing things down here, but they're just going to move in through the other side. And yeah, he never got an arrow.
He did get an arrow, actually. It was from the enemy medic, though.
So okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's going to make things a little unfortunate for him in that case. And That's gonna clean a blank out of this equation. Makes it nice for czuraci to have a chance to get themselves back in this mid, but they will have to use that Uber if they want to get on through, and that's what they do. Fortunately for them, they're not really finding much with it. They do manage to at least clean up Hans, but enemy medic in no position to be killed here whatsoever, and that's Arcades now with a big Uber ad waiting for NANDEM. Breeze can't quite get anything either except for a kill onto Pandemic, and it's just gonna be a chance for NANDEM to come right back into this midpoint.
Bells ring out. They're going to try and move through this choke. They are going to be flanked here. There's actually two players going for the backhand. The scout and the soldier behind lines. Lucas and Lenny have gone down, however.
It's interesting. I mean, this is a double back gap here. They can't stack mid first. They have to go back for it, and they're very aggressive as well. Rolling and Misha, they both really want to get to this last point as best they can. Managed to at least themselves a couple of frags traded out for it, but ultimately they still die anyway. And the second is just going to be retaken, but still, that's pulling back a lot of aggression, and that basically kept czuraci in this, because it was looking shambolic before this. But now they can stabilize on mid.
Yeah, the Uber was good. Just unfortunate that two players made it behind. It was actually a big flank, so he had to pop there because of those flankers were doing so much damage in choke. Now let's see here. They're going to move in onto the second point. They're not really showing themselves super hard right now. Hans is trying to take a fight with Breeze along with Pandemic, and now they're finally going to move forward here. Either team seems pretty scared of going too aggressive here, and eventually it is going to be NANDEM that moves forward. They do have the Uber ad. Not sure how well it's been counted on the side of czuraci. I think they know they didn't quite have it yet, but they're going to move in now. They definitely have the Uber at this point. Breeze going to just come in here like a homing missile, but too late. Not enough speed. Can't quite get close enough. Okay, he's going to hold on to that, no problem. And Lenny's on 90%, so this is looking like he is going to be able to get it, but there's still one player down.
Yeah, that one player might make the difference here at the end of the day. The point being capped off as well now. It's not looking all that nice for czuraci positioning-wise. Hans manages to slip in and get the kill onto Coling as well. It's the flank opened up a little bit more, and respawning soldier isn't going to do much either. Blank tanking a lot of damage as well. Eventually gets dropped out of all of that, but they still trade him out for Lucas on the other side anyway. It's still equal players. Matter of fact, it's actually better players for the side of NANDEM as the Ubers finally get popped off. And he's a bit healthier than Arcades, but it won't matter when the Ubers fade. The positioning is all that really matters, and well, they have a soldier trying to slip in. Hans has get cleaned up. They do manage to get at least their crucial players back into defensive positions for czuraci, but they still have to protect this point. They managed to get Pandemic. They are chasing Balder and Arcades as best they can. They do get him out to mid for the time being, but it's still not looking all that decisive for now. I mean, they still have to get this mid, and that's Nation out of the equation. Coling also not in position to receive any arrow. Matter of fact, he might just die. No, okay, escapes just narrowly, but NANDEM are still very much in this.
Yeah, Hector Coling almost dying there. He's going to be able to get out, but pretty curious there to see Pandemic and Balder actually losing the scout fight just because SNH is just beasting on them. And there we go. It's going to have yeah, the classic roamers trade here. Good stuff. Soldier's going to come jumping in now. It kind of tries to go back out, and looks like Lodex will actually be able to survive here. And Coling is going to be the one to fall instead. So it's still pretty chaotic. Both teams are down one player. This choke is going to be held pretty aggressively, it looks like, but no. They're actually going for the flank instead. Lucas might get caught out here. No, the rest of the team are actually going to pop here and ward them off. So they're not going to lose the demo man, but they are going to lose the Uber for no Uber on the side of Arcades.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate as well, because Lenny was just standing so aggressively next to that entrance into second, and just ended up eating so much damage from the stick. He's having to basically force or be forced to drop to fall damage. So kind of an unfortunate situation, getting forced out in that situation. They do manage to get a couple of frags here to slow down NANDEM, and Coling is in a position to maybe try and get a bomb here onto the medic.
No,
does
Blank
not get the rockets though. Blank does get cleaned up eventually. They do. Oh my god!
Arcades again. Just absolutely massive plays coming out of Lucas. Just again showing his class.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautifully done. Keeping czuraci in this. That being said, they're still down around. We've been 10 minutes now. It's still 1-0. Certainly a lot slower than Process was going. You can tell people are feeling a bit hesitant to commit too much when you don't really have any strategies and don't quite know where people could be and all that. I mean, Hans immediately almost gets away with a nice little flank there through the fountain. Isn't gonna get away with just that, but meanwhile, Blank and Hans are both gonna get cleaned up anyway. Balder now just slips in onto Lenny though. SNH gets cleaned up as well, and the scouts on NANDEM again starting to step up a little bit more. than they were last map. I mean, they were still doing good, but they're really starting to step up now.
Soldier's gonna get caught out as well. Calling tries his best to get 2 scouts there, but they were both buffed. There was just basically no chance. This should be a pretty easy push in here onto second. They're just gonna cruise in here, put some scouts on the point, and they should have a big, nice advantage going into last, about 50% add. And this is a really good opportunity here for them to get even farther ahead. And so far, what I've learned is that if you put the center gun really far forward near the hedge where it's placed right now, if they Uber in through the shutter door, it will push the demo man really heavily. So let's see if Blank has learned that lesson. Nope.
Oh, nope, not quite. Still gets denied a little bit by it anyway. And they take a while to take it down. As the Uber is faded as well. Nobody on czuraci dying just yet, but they're all kind of locked at the spawn, trying to maybe get some positions here. Breeze will be the first to fall eventually, and with that player ad already, NANDEM feeling themselves a nice chance here to get into this point eventually. Heavy still in play. SNH not near the point though. Eventually gets focused down, and they are finding frags either side, but it is going better for the side of NANDEM. And slowly but surely they win the war of attrition. They're gonna get on this point, clean up the remaining players, and there you go. That's the second round on the board for them.
Yeah, not a pretty push, but eventually they got the job done there. They picked off enough players who were trying to hide in different alleys and drop behind, that eventually they were just able to win that with the scout combo. Just having 2 scouts alive at the end of a fight is just so powerful, and we got to see that there pretty clearly. So that's going to be 2-0 here for NANDEM, just in case you were wondering if they deserve to go into playoffs. I guess they're putting on a show here. But
they want to ensure themselves a better spot on the leaderboard, even if it doesn't actually matter, because they can't come first, so the seeding isn't going to change in that regard. Second and third are going to fight each other anyway, right? The only team that would have had a chance to maybe do that would have been czuraci, but that ship has sailed as well, so it's just another mid-fight. Arcades goes down early, but they are trading out a couple players for it on the side of czuraci as well, and crucially Lenny is finding himself under a little bit of pressure as Lucas just gets mulched by the scouts eventually, and there is the follow-up in onto the medic. You guys mentioned clean him up as well. It's down to Nation versus Pandemic. One of them is a little bit healthier. Pandemic might still have to fight in his bag anyway. Nope, not quite. Close, but Nation wins that one.
Yeah, Pandemic, he did 129 damage. Just unfortunate that Nation was real healthy. But good try there. It's going to be a mid-win so far. I think he's going to be able to cap it out before anyone gets there. Blank is almost there in time.
Not committing.
Quite.
Not committing to it. Decides to stay on second instead. Very apt decision. And speaking of apt decisions, a crit screen coming out of the side of czuraci here. Lucas wants to farm. He wants to have a big play. Just one final one for the regular season. It's gonna look nice in the frag video, even if it doesn't matter. Nobody needs to know the context of the match that this crits play perhaps happened in. But unfortunately for them, Arcades is also be very close to his Uber here, so this crit really has to stick. And it has to be the biggest one ever. That's the kill to Balder, alright, but there's a soldier in immediately, and that's just gonna deny them any more ground, and they get one more crit sticky off before having to eventually let it away as the Uber now comes out of the side of NANDEM. And they're just there to clean house. Anybody they can, that's Nation, that's Lucas out of the equation, and well, it's just more for the picking. That's a floating soldier holding just in no man's land. SNH just managed to flank in, not flanking behind, but managed to keep his medic safe from Lardox, but that's all she wrote. They're escaping licking their wounds anyway.
Yeah, it's not much of a consolation prize, but it is better than nothing here to have Lenny survive. Gonna be able to build Uber. Actually builds slightly faster than Arcades here, so... Oh, right, this is a crit screen. That makes so much sense. I forgot. I just figured that was over. Usually medics die, but yeah, it is a crit squeak, and obviously NANDEM, they know. So we're about to see another crit squeak here.
This time around, they don't have an Uber though. Arcades can't quite right-click just in case there is a crit sticky flying his way, so they have to shut this crits down the old-fashioned way. And well, doing something like killing the demo and just doing so much damage in this one choke point through library, it's probably a pretty good way of accomplishing that. Now they're just going to try to use it on Breeze. Unfortunately, he just gets left alone immediately and just gets flashed onto Nation instead, who's trying his best. He does get a couple there with the crit scatter.
Oh, is he running the
He should be chasing. Yeah, he forgot. You could just be chasing, and that's an Arcades left to his lonesome. It worked out.
That was just a genius move. He just delayed the medic kill.
Exactly. That was the whole plan.
Yeah, it feels like he was chasing phantoms there a little bit. It was literally just a medic alive. I think he was trying to block like a flank or something that didn't exist.
Just caught in the sauce.
Yeah.
Look, the map's confusing. I can see that. It can happen. You're a little caught up in it. Oh well. It's an opportunity now for czuraci to get themselves into a second point here. Still on the crit streak. Still got to make that work. It's going to be a bit tough, perhaps, into last, but they don't have to worry about the Uber for Arcades just yet. He's still nowhere near his own, and NANDEM are kind of scrambling to set themselves up for the last hold here as well. They haven't had much time to do much, and crits are in play perhaps soon, as there's going to be lots of damage flying across the point. Colin will be the first to fall, though, as he just tries to get in and maybe pressure people out a bit. And matter of fact, Blank is doing a magnificent job at pressuring people out, just shutting down that shutter door. Nation, in the meantime, just into last, manages to two-shot Pandemic and just kind of chill, just stay there. Nobody's really pressuring him for the time being. Eventually, he'll have to get out, but not before Balder dies to Lucas. And they're not going to be able to push out of this for NANDEM. They're still going to have to wait this out.
I mean, as far as really terrible crit streaks go, that actually went pretty well.
Yeah.
They actually, didn't lose anyone particularly impressive or important, and they got a few kills themselves. So they are now in a situation where they have a crits against an Uber, sure, but the enemy team has to push out of their last. So they might just get like a bunch of different situations. And look at this, they're actually being sneaky. They put Breeze on Spy. That's gonna be well, easy, I was going to say. Look at Hawk. He's just going full Pyro mode.
He knows. They know immediately there's something nefarious afoot. Something not quite right is going on here for the side of czuraci. But they're actually going very sneaky into the very low flank here with the crits. And oh, they managed to get the sneaky out of Arcades, but he realizes and just right-clicks in time. Everybody's flashed. Nobody dies for the side of NANDEM. It would have been such a huge crits. Unfortunately, Arcades isn't blind. He sees and hears the lightning. And he's gonna just make sure nobody dies there. So it's gonna be down to Breeze now. He slips in through the chaos. Will decloak right behind the enemy medic, but nearly gets spotted out by that. And yeah, almost gets a trick stab though.
I like the spirit there. That was almost something that was gonna work. Really good stuff. Like that first crit sticky actually hit the soldier, not the medic. So that's why he had like more extra time to do that and pop the Uber. Hawks just gonna look them in the eyes intently and then leave. As once again, this crit streak is actually doing quite a lot of work. Like they get situations out of it.
This again, Arcades is just too slippery. He's too slippery. Okay, he gets to clean up onto Blank at the very least, but in the meantime, they're just being ravaged in the backlines by the scouts. Boulder and Pandemic are just tearing them up, and it's not looking all that healthy already for czuraci. They don't have heals at all. They really are struggling to fight this whatsoever, and the war of attrition is just gonna end up favoring NANDEM in this situation, even if the cap pressure is coming on. They do get Lardox at the very least on the side, but it's just not gonna matter, and it's just gonna be another opportunity for NANDEM to keep rolling forward. Unless Colding? No, not even gonna get traded out for Hans here.
Yeah, no one's better than Hans with that stick, I swear. Get so many kills with it. Anyway, we've got a nice Uber coming in here onto mid. They all know it. And we actually got Lenny on an actual Uber now as well.
What? I forgot he even had that gun. I was just getting so used to the crits.
Yeah.
What's
Lucas gonna do now? I don't get it. Yeah.
I mean, he was getting unlucky with the crits, to be fair. So like, he was doing much. Breeze going for the interesting wall bug there, and then just having to drop down into no man's land, probably dying for his troubles. Very unfortunate, but at least they got a kill onto Lardox, I guess. And hey, look, Lenny got an Uber in time, so it's gonna be equal. Matter of fact, it's actually gonna be much better Uber for the side of czuraci, but they're not chasing with it, so doesn't really matter. They still traded 2 for 1 outside of the Uber, and NANDEM are gonna have the faster spawns. They're gonna be there quicker, so it might just favor them anyway. I mean, SNH will clean up Hans, but they still have to fight the second, and it's looking like NANDEM are already putting on a lot of pressure on him. In fact, Lucas is eating a lot of damage as well. Will get cleaned up. SNH out of the equation means your two main carries are gone. It's gonna be down to Nation to really pull this together, and unfortunately, he can't get the frag onto the medic there. Nice shot! Okay. Nice shot.
Oh, Pandemic. He's fighting a medic. He has 5 HP. Oh, Lenny just barely gets him. Despite the air shots and the flashy plays, not quite. Oh my god, that air really saved that soldier. But now the medic might die for it. Yeah, Hart just switches targets. Doesn't care about Breeze. He saw Lenny. Got blood in his eyes. Took him down.
Man, oh man, it's just pure chaos. This fight's just never gonna end. SNH is just into mid now. Why is he there? What is bro doing there? Somebody pick him up, man. He's lost. He's not supposed to be there. No, he's just dead. Back to the respawn queue, I guess. Oh well. It's not like NANDEM have had an easy time getting into the second so far. That being said, though, they should have a rather easy time at this point, right? Big Uber ad to work with. Lenny's still out of the equation for the time being. Coling getting caught as well as Nation, so no flank to worry about. This is a surefire second point secured, and probably a last push as well come out of NANDEM, especially if they can get some more pressure on and not lose anybody. I mean, Lardox are dangerously close there. Hans is already into last as well. There's Captain being put down, and this point is so hard to defend once you're actually behind that wall. You really can't afford to be, but unfortunately they are, and they can't even get close to defend it now. It's just slowly but surely getting bullied off. The Uber comes out as well, and it's just a massacre.
Yeah, just the soldiers did so much work. They're putting so much time on the point. So obviously they sent some soldiers and other players to ward them off the point. But that just meant that the scouts were full health, and now the scouts are pressuring the point. And that's very difficult to stop when you're kind of halfway out of ammo and not that healthy, and they're fully buffed. But there we go. Another really solid push there. It was real weird there. Lots of strange fights. But eventually just the blank jump in, super powerful. Did so much work, did so much damage, pushed into last. 3-0 for NANDEM now.
We'll see if czuraci will find themselves back into this. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, right? Both of these teams have made playoffs already, but maybe they can get themselves some consolation rounds. Who knows? Maybe NANDEM will fancy themselves playing this map in the playoffs now if they get given the opportunity, right? But so far, the mids have been good. That is an absolutely beautiful bomb by Lucas. He just whipped that out of nowhere. Did you see that?
Well, I saw him land. I didn't actually see him jump. I just saw him like
I think he got juggled. He like kind of synced it, like surfed like a rocket or something, maybe with one of his pipes. I don't know, but he just got sent directly into the enemy combo and just hit every pipe.
Yeah, it teleports behind you. Nothing personal, kid. Takes down the medic and the demo man, or soldier was it? Yeah, that's just Lucas things. Apparently he can do these. Oh, what is SNH doing in space? I don't see how that happened, but he was just literally penciling into the moon.
He's going a lot of places he really shouldn't be. He's going places no scouts gone before, but here we are. Getting away with it anyway. Hans has decided to pick up the knife and invis watch. We'll see how that goes for him as the team pushes into last. He's just gun spying. I respect the hell out of that, brother. He has remembered that spy is a primary weapon and that it actually is kind of decent if you manage to hit your shots. Unfortunately, he's not hitting them.
He's on dead ringer
on
as
the
well.
dead ringer as well. Very interesting. You know they're gonna hear that, right? Maybe they don't know what the sound is. There's a crits in play as well. It's pure chaos. And Hans is there to try and maybe get. Okay, he got one gunshot onto Lenny here. That's something.
This is peak TF2 gaming right now. Soldier's gonna jump in behind the point, take down both scouts. There we go. That should be that. Lardox doing a ton of damage, 4-0. I mean, they just sent in a gun spy with dead
yes.
and won. All right.
I think the morale might be shot, and it doesn't really matter, right? It's curtains at this point for czuraci trying to win the map. They aren't getting more than 1 point out of this match. It was all they needed. They only needed that 1 point to make Condor cry. But
Indeed.
They are making playoffs anyway, even if they lose 5-0 now. It doesn't matter. It's just 5 minutes of fun times, people maybe trying things out, maybe workshopping how to play Villa a little bit more, just for it to never show up in a season ever again. Probably.
Hey, learning is always good, no matter if it seems tangential and not important. You never know when this type of knowledge is going to come in handy. There's a big flank coming as well, by the way. He's doing a lot of work, but the blank is going to hit a nice pipe to shut him down. And now it's just going to be Lucas getting pressured. Actually, Soldier's going to jump in here. And it's going to be SNH again just feasting. Can Lucas hit the pipe to actually turn this whole fight around? Looks like the answer is no, but SNH is still just doing so much work.
Yeah, so is Pandemic on the other side, though. Managed to get slip in there onto Lenny. Eventually, SNH the cleanups, though. He is there when he needs to be. Stays alive, slips away. And there you go. Just gets away with too much as Lucas still alive as well. Holding onto his mid together with his buddy. And they're gonna win this. I think this is the first one mid for czuraci on Villa. But
you might be right. I hadn't even thought about that. But
I think it might have been the first one. And look, you know, it's something. A consolation round, perhaps. Maybe something to get on their belt, right?
They've got about 5 minutes to do this. Yeah, I don't see
feasible.
Yeah, absolutely. You want some rounds here. Like, just because you know you're going to be facing them in the playoffs. So you want some morale, you want to beat them, you want to show them that you're on their level. But anyway, we've got a full review. We're trying to just... it's a crit streak, actually. My bad. As Blank going to come in here. This is the first one. This is the second one. The third one. This is the demo man here, though. And... okay.
Sure.
Oh, this is a genius bomb from Blank. I don't care what you're saying.
It worked. It not only did it get a kill, it's not when he expected it, but you know he got a kill with it anyway. And hey, you know, something happened. Things happened. People always say nothing ever happens, but clearly things have happened. And now czuraci find themselves on second. An ambitious crits play that didn't quite work out. Hans on a sniper, trying to snipe in the second here. Is gonna have to pay with his life probably for his trouble. Never mind, he does actually escape into last. Quite unscathed for that matter. It's gonna be an Uber for the side of the Czech team here, seeing if they can just convert themselves a single round. Find themselves on last for the first time, see how the hell this point even looks as Lucas gets nuked down when he's not Ubered. But the rest of the team is here to clean up anyway. And yeah, they're just bullying these players into spawn. Blank trying his best to solo hold this together with his scalp maybe, but there's only so much you can do against the whole team. And there you go.
It really seems like this last point is super difficult to hold.
Yeah. I feel like it's really... Once you get pushed behind the wall, it's basically already over. Unless you have an Uber to come back to the point with, you have no position anymore. You don't know where players are because the wall is literally not see-through. You can't see them. It's completely tall. You can't jump over it or anything. You have to walk around it or through the tiny choke point right next to the point, where there's obviously going to be a lot of spam coming through. So I feel like you really need to make sure you never get pushed behind that wall, but the problem is there's nowhere else to hide. So you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, you kind of have to go into the other entrance. But anyway, this is Soldier jumping very aggressively here. Both Soldiers actually pretty aggressively onto Blank. This is kind of what I was saying earlier, I guess. But we actually got the entire enemy team here in Library, and they're just slowly being picked off. Lenny's gonna run around the bookshelf. Almost gets a bust hit onto him there, but that's going to be that. Actually, we got Hawks hiding near spawn. This is sneaky. How is he there already? He's been standing here for a long time.
It's a bit of foresight, brother. And you know he's being patient. He's waiting for that medic spawn. He wants the big frag.
Oh, the timing.
And he's going to get it too. Oh, what a beautiful rocket as well. That's just disgusting. Nasty stuff. Absolutely nasty. But anyway, that's probably going to make it even easier for NANDEM to get away with even more here, as they've already capped off second. Now a nice chance to get into last. They are bleeding a couple players here before their troubles, mind you. SNH once more cleaning house. Just hitting so much damage, so many meat shots, but does it matter? Lenny's on the heavy at this point, on last. They're just trying anything at this point, man.
Been there. Actually, yeah, SNH was doing so much work there.
Oh man! Hey, no, heal him. You know what? He's still healing. Yeah, he's still medic. He healed him. It's fine.
Alright, I'm so disappointed in Lonox for not going Jetpack Pyro here. This is the situation to do it.
Come on,
you got to, Brad. Come on.
They're not doing it. They just want to close this out.
Yeah, slash heavy flank. They get Hawks. There we go. Uber comes in though. They get the revenge. Nation's on sniper. Luke is dead. This is gonna be that. Game's over. Gonna be a clean 5-1 victory here for NANDEM. They're gonna get 5 points here. They needed 2. They get 5.
That's all they needed, that's all they wanted, and crucially, czuraci only needed 1 point, and they got it. They got the 1 point they needed. Both of these teams have done exactly what they needed to upset Nunya, who are now not going to be able to make playoffs, who have unfortunately been usurped from their chances. It does suck, huh? You did everything you could in your power, and you still didn't even get into playoffs.
Time to go look and see if they use the proper names throughout the entire season. Maybe you can get a small...
Like a penalty point somewhere, or maybe somebody forgot a demo somewhere and the admins just haven't gotten around to reviewing it, right? Now you gotta start the rat strats. This is where you gotta go looking, but...
Yeah, this is all you can do now.
It's your only chance. Maybe you can somehow duck the point of the Czech team and try and get yourself back in there. But you probably have about 3 days, because And the playoffs are next week, right? So
Yeah, indeed. You know how in TF2 when you tie, it says you're all losers? Well, this is the rare time where you're all winners. Congratulations. You made it into the playoffs. Good job.
just that easily. Must be a weird way to slide into playoffs by 1 point.
Yeah, so to sum up, my project's going to finish number 1, and then it's going to be NANDEM in second, czuraci on third, and those 3 are going to be in the playoffs. And then in 4th place, Nunya not making the playoffs. And then after that, it's Aragosta and Aware. I don't know what order they're in because I don't think it's been updated on the tables yet, and I'm not sure who won. So there you go.
Not like it matters much. We know it's going to be another match, a rematch basically between these two teams as the first playoffs match for czuraci and NANDEM, and then whoever wins that match against my project is going to be the deciding final of the season. A very weird, very curious, and short-lived season, but still interesting nonetheless. Certainly, and I wonder how much we're going to see of these teams next season, or if they're just all going to go back to the teams they came from, and just like go back to the normal stuff. I guess.
Yeah, hopefully next season's going to be a little more regular and hype, and have some real proper teams. It's fine for the summer here, I think. But yeah, I have barely paid attention to the season, and I don't feel like I've missed out on that much. Hopefully the demos get uploaded so I can actually see what I missed. But we shall see. But anyway, I think that's going to be that for today. Samus was on production. Certainly, always a pleasure casting with you, and we got to see two winning teams play today. What a treat for us! Hopefully we'll see you in the finals whenever that happens.
See you around.